Hi everyone, welcome to TalentiaTech. Our goal is to promote the transfer of knowledge and experience and to foster innovation. My name is Raquel Peula and I'm the Webinar Series Director. I would like to thank you for joining us today and just remind you that this event is being recorded and the video will be posted on our website and on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about the renaissance of entrepreneurs in Spain. And now I would like to give the floor to our special guest, Jennifer Riggins.
Hi, everybody. Buenas tardes, castellanos y catalanes. And hello, good morning, or good afternoon to those joining us from the rest of the world. Welcome to a chat on the Renaissance of entrepreneurs in Spain. First and foremost, the purpose of this chat is to make it a discussion and to have everyone involved. As you can see on the screen that I hope everyone can read, there are two ways for you to ask questions. We're going to end the process with a Q&A ceremony or a question and answer rounds, and there are two ways you can ask questions throughout. You can first do it on the WebEx. Although these questions and statements have much longer character limits, which could be good, these remarks will not be available after the event. You may also tweet questions and comments to @TalentiaTech or @TalentiaTech, including potential hashtags, #SpainEntrepreneur or #EspañaEmprende. Make sure to mention if you are directing the question to a particular panelist so we know who to ask at the end of the talk. Twitter is also good because even though obviously you have shorter character limits to talk in, it's a way we can continue the conversation after the webinar has continued. So thank you very much all for coming, and thank you for joining the Renaissance of Entrepreneurs in Spain. It doesn't have to be an uphill battle, as we're saying. Today, as part of TalentiaTech's webinar series, we're going to talk about entrepreneurs in Spain. First, to state the facts, people love Spain. They want to live here, but the culture is struggling for more entrepreneurs. And those that are here are looking for other markets to escape to as soon as possible. So what we're going to talk about today is 4 areas. First, I'm going to talk about the different challenges that entrepreneurs face. I'm a Giri from New Jersey, and I've spent the last 4 years living in Madrid and now Barcelona, and I've had the privilege to interview more than 100 startups, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and etc. for my work with CBS SmartPlanet. I also am a community manager for a startup called Quote Roller, which is a really cool business proposal tool. Next to speak, we will have Jose Manuel Pico, who will talk about how the children are our future. Jose is an architect, and he has a particular passion for founding entrepreneurial values in kids through his Iniciador Kids. He also has founded companies such as Espacios de Tres, and he just does wonderful things that help kids learn how to build entrepreneurial spirit when they need it at a young age. Next, the next topic we will talk about is the life of a startup incubator. And for that, we're going to have Roque Velasco talk about the value and sometimes setbacks of using incubators to scale and grow your startup. Roque is the COO of InSpirit, an accelerator of internet and software innovators, and he and his team are currently advising these startups. The e-tailers, which outsources e-commerce, Famina, an email security company, Concentra, information technologies, Matrix and Leader, the intelligent SEO company, Vincro, a new corporate social network, Hotel Erum, a booking platform for hotels, AdFleet, and they're looking for more companies to advise to. And then finally, for the latter part of our presentation, we're going to talk about how to set up a business in Spain, and Vanessa Guerrero is going to give us some tricks on how to help your taxes, incentives, and necessary legal info. Vanessa is the Investor Services Manager at the Business Climate Department at Invest, where she's worked for 6 years. Before that, she worked at the Spanish Tourism Bureau, and she works as an investment service manager, helping foreign companies and entrepreneurs set up businesses in Spain. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions for her at the end of the event, because we all want to know what we can do to help ease the process of starting a business in Spain. And then I just want to remind you again, this is a discussion. Even though we only have 4 panelists, we want you involved. So feel free to ask your questions in the WebEx or tweet them to @TalentiaTech, @TalentiaTech. Okay, so we'll do our best to answer those questions as soon as possible. So I'm here to talk about the challenges that the Spanish startups and Austin startups in general face, in the hopes that we can open a discussion of how to overcome them. Let's start with just the facts. As of last week, a sad milestone Spain hit. Unemployment has continued to skyrocket to the number that 27% of Spain is officially imparado or unemployed. 60% of Spain's 30 and under are jobless. 44% of the 30 and under who are employed are working for jobs that they're officially overqualified for. This is leading to a serious and impending brain drain on the Spanish economy and culture as youth look abroad more and more. In fact, last year, 70% of Spain's youth said they'd consider moving abroad. And last year, the National Statistics Institute of Spain revealed that twice as many of Spain's youth are currently emigrating than were in 2010. So this all asks one question. With nothing left to lose, why aren't Spain's youth starting their own companies? They don't have family, they don't have mortgages. Why aren't the Spanish youth encouraged to do this? So with this, we begin with the topic that why TalentiaTech approached me about having this webinar in the first place. A couple months ago, I published what has become by far my most popular article to date, which is kind of sad since it's one of the only few negative articles I've done in a huge pool of articles about the wonders of entrepreneurship and business in Spain. While the article was written out of sheer frustration, the 100+ Spanish entrepreneurs I've privileged to talk with are super inspiring, but they also repeat the same mantra time and again of the challenges that entrepreneurs face in Spain. So I wrote an article about why the Spanish aren't entrepreneurs, discussing the many cultural, educational, and legal barriers to starting your own business in the country I love to live in. TalentiaTech asked me to stir the pot further, as they say, by pulling together a talk on the topic. As we look to discuss the entrepreneurial movement in Spain, we must first discuss why it's so slow to move. So, why aren't the Spanish entrepreneurs? Because it's absurdly difficult to be. Let's start first with the pink elephant that's was missing from my already long article. The laws and taxes that are in place strangle most companies before they can even come up for air. I'm going to start by quoting some comments on my article. People told me that the article was good, but missing the huge white elephant in the room, the government. It is actively penalized by tax and bureaucracy systems to be an entrepreneur or self-employed in Spain. And as you know, the startup costs are huge compared to other countries. Therefore, most budding businesses are strangled even before birth because the initial setup costs too much in both time and money. Education is prescriptive too, of course, with rote learning and little application of knowledge to solve problems, but it is not the whole story. The restrictions to growth are huge. Someone else said, every step in the startup process is slowed down and made more expensive due to excessive controls and bureaucracy. It is impossible to raise money for the business since before starting, you already have to pay the government and have to start paying taxes before you make any money whatsoever, and a huge series of difficulties. So the biggest barrier seems to be that the bureaucracy is expensive and it takes forever. It's nearly impossible to start your own business. There's no flexibility. Most of us have day jobs that we cannot afford to quit our day jobs in order to pursue our dreams. We need to hustle on our downtime on nights and weekends to get things done if we want to start our own business. The Spanish are completely limited in their job status options. You can either have a full-time job or an autonomo, which is Spanish for freelance, but not both. I know a graphic designer who does freelance work outside of her day jobs on her nights and weekends, but can only bill everybody 1 month a year when she bureaucratically steps down from her 9-to-7 job and goes officially on quote-unquote vacation for a month so she can bill her clients. That means that she can take up to 14 months to get paid back by her clients. Beyond that, the restrictions to growth are impressive, including expensive and complicated patent laws. Beyond everything else, the wait time for the bureaucratic process is so slow and frustrating to see everything done. And before anything else, part of the struggle is that from the get-go, you have to pay taxes. One commenter wrote, the current cost of Social Security benefits payments plus various other costs are strong disincentives to starting up your own business, even with the recent changes rebates for the under 30s. You start by paying between 260 to 300 euros a month. This means you're paying taxes whether or not your company has started earning money or not. It's very rare for any sort of new business to make a profit within the first year, when just breaking even is considered somewhat of a success. So as another commenter talks about, it's expensive both to start a business and to try to expand it or to hire staff. A company has to prepay part of their taxes for the years to come based on previous year's turnover. Hiring an individual temporarily comes with so many constraints that most companies that try to avoid it at all costs. If someone works with you for a year, the contract becomes indefinite. When waiting to cancel the contract, guess what? Severance pay, and the big one. So there are a lot of restrictions that make people not want to do it. I actually advocate on the behalf of how America does it, which is you just pay taxes for the money you earn. I have a full-time job and freelance positions that I pay taxes on, and it makes it a lot easier. So you are more liable to start your own company because you know you have your day job to fall back on. I think it's a great idea that Spain should start on. As another commenter on the SmartPlanet article said, there's a certain kind of cultural barrier that makes it difficult for us to get out of Spain to make a business. It's also a language barrier, but not only. We've been for generations relying on the domestic market, and now it is difficult for Spanish companies to grow with this limitation. Things are changing now, but it will probably take time. There's no doubt there are some cultural barriers to a full-on entrepreneurial movement here. For those that have jobs, they're repeatedly told to cling to them, whether they want to or not. Having a job is now seen as a gift that you can't counter your boss. With 27% unemployment, this culture of fear and subordination has grown. More and more, bosses are saying there's a line out the door of people waiting to take your job. This means that we're pushing more and more for the Spanish culture to seem anti-entrepreneurial. A great entrepreneurist who helps guide the employed and unemployed, and as a friend of mine recently told me, un emprendedor es un bicho raro. In Spain, an entrepreneur is a freak or an oddball. There's no need to like what you do, you just need to have a job. There's no learn from your mistakes, Silicon Valley culture of if you fail, try again, or learning from your mistakes. If you fail, you get branded with an X and you never try again. When I met Enrique Semper, founder of NIM Genetics, and at a startup pitch conference last year, he told me there's something in Spain that's risk adverse. We're not used to debating, having open discussions in general. This is all flipped in the entrepreneurial community. A common theme on Spanish business blogs is that Spanish society doesn't necessarily understand people that work for startups. This is a country that favors stability over potential gain. Startup founder Lucas Carnet of Privalia recently said in an interview, "We live in an increasingly changing world. People have to get used to change as a natural condition, and to cope with a condition, you have to be an entrepreneur." As a consequence of some of the former points, an entrepreneur will be surrounded in Spain by naysayers, trying to get him to forget about his dreams. Both family and friends, colleagues, authorities, everybody will tell the entrepreneur that his plan will never work. Further, struggling against small businesses is that in the middle or lower classes, taking out loans is seen as a bad thing. In America, going bankrupt is a rite of passage. Look at Donald Trump. In the same vein, getting a loan for a new business in many parts of Europe is really quite difficult. Next, the Spanish small business owner notoriously looks too small. Starting small is good if you're looking to scale your business, but many aren't. While 5% of the Spanish population are small business owners, less than half of these independent companies has more than 2 employees. So most of them are freelancers. Only a mere 10%, or 5 out of every 1,000 small businesses in Spain, has 10 or more employees. This goes to show how many of the Spanish do share a desire with most cultures to be their own bosses, but it stops there. There are, of course, freelancers, particularly in the architectural industry and others impossibly hit by the crisis, who, following their 2 years of government-funded unemployment, try to outsource themselves to any job they can get. And there are definitely shopkeepers. But the majority of these people aren't Zara's Armanti Ortega, but rather they usually only open just one shop or bar as part of creating a legacy to pass down to their children. They rarely think of opening an online store, which is a much lower risk investment, and they don't consider what their children want to do anyway. Especially with a lack of consumption in their own country, increasing e-commerce is a way to expand business despite crisis. And to compound it all, the Spanish are known for, well, having a low level of English in the EU, the lowest level, and they're not looking to expand as much outside Latin America, where there needs to be more help. Finally, and this is a big problem that Jose will talk about more, but Spain isn't exactly a land of dreamers. I can't stress enough that in Spain, there's no need to like your job. This is not a country that raises their children to dream about what they want to be when they grow up. Parents want their kids to focus on education, exams, not practical internships and things until after graduation. To quote my entrepreneurial Catalan friend again, it seems that you only look to start a company when it's the last thing that's left to try. She says that she has students that after a year or two unemployed, now they want to open a business, but it's the last option. In fact, an ESADE white paper on entrepreneurship in Spain states that 4 out of 10 entrepreneurs act out of necessity, which isn't exactly the sort of thing venture capitalists and business angels are looking for, right? Part of the problem is that entrepreneurial values aren't instilled in school. Upon graduation, 70% of Spanish people want to work in companies, while 70% of American graduates want to be their own bosses. And then there's the Spanish obsession with oposiciones, or civil servant jobs for life. While the numbers may vary, it's somewhere between 50 and 75% of uni graduates last year said they wanted to at least try to take an opposition exam to be a civil servant. I know one person who spent 3 years studying 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for one of 2 positions with one of the Spanish ministries. She had the 3rd highest score of 600 test takers. There were only 2 positions. So what did she do with that life, that time? So as one person I met at a networking event said, and I agree with, you're 23 years old with your whole life ahead of you, and all you can do is dream of being a public servant. It's a little sad and lack of creative. There's also a certain lack of role models in Spain. We certainly know you can't look to the politicians or royals for examples anymore here. And Iker Casillas is a great leader in person, but we need role models outside the sports arena and inside the business one too. Yes, Dada's founder Amancio Ortega, sometimes known as the 3rd richest man in the world, is a great example of Spanish entrepreneurship, but I don't think he's really going to be relatable at 77 with the 22-year-old university graduate. Also, Ortega isn't like Bill Gates or Richard Branson, he's not spending his free time and money investing in inspiring Spain's youth, which that's his choice. But I say Spain needs to start highlighting its next generation, like Javier Aguera, who started Geeksphone when he was 16. Geeksphone just released last month Mozilla Firefox's first phone. This is a hugely impressive 21-year-old whose name you should probably have never heard of, so keep him in mind. But role models or not, I believe a renaissance of entrepreneurs in Spain is certainly starting. The other 3 panelists will elaborate more on many of these public and private organizations, but just to name a few, Telefónica's Wayra, Mercadona's partnership with the University of Valencia, AS 2.0, which works specifically with women in tech world. I just talked to Unreasonable at Sea last week, who finished in Barcelona and have 2 amazing companies that are Spanish. One called the IOU Project, which makes sure you know your clothes are being made in fair conditions, respecting the whole supply chain process. And Aqua Inc., which actually is kind of saving the world because it uses plants to purify water in countries that don't have potable or proper drinking water. There's a lot of tech-based organizations, but there's also amazing ones like Jose Manuel will talk about, Iniciador, or Fundación Create, which are both focused on teaching entrepreneurial values when they matter most. The younger, the better. There are so many different things, and the list goes on and on. So I ask the hopefully more obvious question, if you can get past the bureaucracy, why aren't more people building a business or expanding their business into Spain? The warmth of the people and the climate are reason enough to think about it. Why are companies only considered a success if they have locations in dreary London or all the way in Silicon Valley? Spain is beautiful and ripe for the picking. Someone once told me recently that Spain is hungry and ripe for the renaissance of entrepreneurs, which I kind of stole for the name of this event. Or, citing the reasoning of another, if the Spanish economy will be saved, it will be saved by emprendedores, entrepreneurs, not the government. So the moment is now. And not to quote Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, too much, but the children are our future. So this is how we have to do it. Like women in science, I firmly believe entrepreneurial values start at a young age. Creativity, different ideologies of entrepreneurs are things that we take for granted in the U.S. In the U.S., we have debates, we have lemonade stands, we have lawn mowing and babysitting. Kids here aren't asked enough, what do you want to be when you grow up? They aren't asked to do entrepreneurial things as a kid. But as the white paper on entrepreneurship in Spain by Esade Business School said, entrepreneurship can be learned at school and should be actively promoted so that young Spaniards can develop skills such as independence, self-confidence, and decision-making in situations of risk. So, without further ado, we're talking about entrepreneurship is an attitude, a way of life, founder of iniciadorkids.com. I present to you Jose Manuel Pico. If you want to talk now, Jose, thank you.
Hi. Hello. Well, I'm Jose Pico, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm so sorry because it's my first webinar, and my English is not as good as I would like, but I will try to do as good as I can. Well, the good thing is that I can tell you that I was in the States a long time ago, and I learned there two very good things. First of all was that failure is not a very bad thing. Here in Spain, most of the people think that failure is a really bad thing. Second thing I learned in the States was that I have to give back to the society part of the things I got from the society. And I'm trying to do it right now. I'm an architect. I have an architectural office, but I spend a big part of my time working with kids and trying to get them to be an entrepreneur. Because I told you that my English is not so good and I'm a bit nervous, I write some words about what is happening in Spain talking about entrepreneurial. This text is called Entrepreneurial Talent Education. Okay, the current concept in our educational system encouraging entrepreneurial skill training is closely linked to the need and generating new economic model more active in entrepreneurship. To do this, we must begin by distinguishing between two different but interrelated concepts: starting businesses and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial spirit in educational setting offers to the development of personal qualities such as creativity, willingness to innovation, self-confidence, achievement, motivation, leadership, and resilience, among others. These qualities are necessary in every setup and for everyone. Starting businesses is linked directly to the arrangement for generating self-employment using all the qualities described above. But the current entrepreneurial culture, the lack of training in entrepreneurship, and the small enterprise financing are three factors that negatively influence starting new business. Furthermore, if we add the historical negative perception of entrepreneurs rooted in the Spanish society, it is absolutely necessary to address the issue in a systematic and organized way from the education system. Among internal barriers for Spanish young entrepreneurs failure, attitude toward risk, and little creativity, while identified as characteristics of an entrepreneur are the need for achievement, independence, the perception that results are produced by own action and risk, appetite, and confidence. How many of these skills can and/or should be trained in the classroom? The current situation in Spain is especially receptive to the need of development in entrepreneurial culture within our country's young people. After years of economic growth and continued rise of living standards, the economic crisis has revealed the weaknesses of our economy and production model, highlighting, among others, the following: reduced weight of industry, excessive dependence of the construction industry and property development, reduced size of low competitive or SMEs compared with those of the countries of our environment, high rate of unemployment among young and strong destruction of jobs. As a consequence, there is a need for a new generation of entrepreneurs able to create and develop businesses that overcame two weaknesses mentioned above. Companies that have an adequate financial and human capital and operation in sectors with high added value, which use new technology properly in their business process with a capacity to innovate and develop sustainable competitive advantage over time. The high rate of job employment acts as an additional incentive for some young people who, unable to find paid employment, decide to try their luck to start their own businesses, especially when they do not require heavy initial investment. The interest and the importance of linking the formal education system to the skills of entrepreneurship is reflected in the large number of initiatives worldwide and found in a large cast of documents produced on the subject. Among the various initiatives in line to present the different programs that are being developed in the school, somehow related to the promotion and entrepreneurship, we collect two due to its importance and depth in subject. I have been working during last years in these two different initiatives. The first of all is Initiator Kids, and it's an entrepreneurial young organization, and the other one is Promete Foundation. Let's go to talk about Initiator Kids Teens. Some years ago, we started with a special social project. It was a project for Spanish entrepreneurial talent pool. Initiator Kids and Teens is a dream of a group of aware entrepreneurs united by a passion, support, and guide young talent so that they can also transform their dreams and ideas into reality and become the standard bearer of entrepreneurship in this country. Initiator Kids and Teens extends from the experience at Initiator Kids and Initiator Foundation and it works of formation entrepreneurship education. After 2 years working with the kids and teenagers, we found that there is a range of them very talented and fully qualified technically and personally to start new projects. These young people initiatives are hardly supported because they are too old to enter the children initiative or too young to fit into adult or college projects. In many cases, they themselves have created their first successful selection, but do not get the traction, support, or contacts necessary to take a step further in their projects. Because their age, they also find restraints when moving to other cities where they couldn't find better ecosystems to boost their ideas. Therefore, Initiator Kids and Teens has carefully designed a program of support, guidance, and mentoring for young talent people designed for two groups of participants, kids from 8 till 13 years and teens from 14 till 18 years old. The objectives are, we're going to give them confidence by helping them believe in themselves, encouraging and making them see that they can undertake projects regarded as unlikely or impossible. We will be around to remind them of their abilities when energies fade away. The dreams can be achieved, and that is what it means to be an entrepreneurship. We're going to offer our recognition, identifying and assessing their skills and abilities, fueling their fires of interest and talent they have to transforming them into real passion. We're going to ease their way, accompanying and providing them with tips and techniques, allowing mistakes and learning from them. We're going to strengthen their training, switches between online training and face-to-face unique experience that will allow them to develop their knowledge and search for new solutions. We're going to connect them, giving them access to our network so they can feel they are supported and advised by the best and becoming part of the entrepreneurial community, feeding back in the way of entrepreneurial ecosystem itself. We are going to be very demanding, making them understand that success requires effort and perseverance, giving push to do their best, encouraging them and fulfill their academic commitments. We are going to invest in them, supporting them financially in the form of seed capital without requesting anything. We are going to give visibility to their project. The best way to promote projects is to share and socialize. In the way we can grow, making them grow, and helping others to understand that they may be able to do it too. All this will be supported by emotional education that allows them to grow and be happy, to support them in their decision of more formal education and link them with other young people who are in the same situation. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. We are trying to helping to all kids and teens here because this situation in Spain right now is very bad, and we don't have a lot of helping here. So we are trying to help these kids and these teens to grow up and to find the way to be an entrepreneur. And nothing else. Thank you very much. Bye.
We love the enthusiasm and passion of building little teeny tiny entrepreneurs. And now I wanted to introduce Roque Velasco, who will present the benefits and drawbacks sometimes of using a startup incubator in Spain to expand your business. Incubation and acceleration, a good idea or not? Thank you, Roque.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. Some of you probably know or not in Spirit, but in Spirit, the company where I work, the incubator, we have been an internet player in Spain since 1995. So we started like almost 20 years ago, providing internet access for company, but from the last 7 years, we have working more on as an incubator, and we have helped more than 15 projects to become a startup, and also to do their financing rounds and help them in the path to success, let's say. As we heard before, entrepreneurship in Spain can be painful, can be sometimes tricky. You need a lot of lawyers and bureaucracy. Could be in some way discouraging. I mean, so one of the solutions to do that, of course, you can entrepreneur by yourself. You can do by yourself, but one of the solutions that is out there for an entrepreneur is to join an incubator or an acceleration programs. I mean, there are different solutions, but more or less at the end, we are talking about a company or a group of people who is helping, who is providing some services and funding to young entrepreneurs in exchange of a piece of equity, of an equity stake, and help them to grow, to look for funding, and to and to develop the project. No, so there are a lot of different models between incubators and acceleration programs, but this is probably the best way to summarize. So the first thing to know is that at the end of the day, an incubator is also a business model. So I think this is very important to have in mind to avoid disappointments or misunderstandings between an entrepreneur and an incubator, right? So from my experience that I've been working in the last years, I'd like to talk about some pros and some cons that I found interesting to share with you today, although there are probably many others and probably more important ones. But this I found this with having in mind the time I have to talk, I found these 8 points to be very interesting to share. On the pro side, of course, the first thing that everybody could agree is the credibility that joining an incubator gives you to your startup, because of course there are many different incubators, but at the end of the day, the brand of a well-established incubator who has a lot of experience, who has well-known mentors, it's let's say it's a boost to your company that helps you to open doors, to get a better network, to get a better chances to obtain funding by a venture capital or a business angel. So credibility for me is one of the best pros of joining an incubator. This also provides to the entrepreneur with a couple of very interesting things. First of all, is the environment that the entrepreneur has in the incubator. He can join there and a place where other startups are around, other entrepreneurs. They can share, they can look for synergies between the projects. They can share teams. They can share, let's say, opinions, solutions, contacts, etc. This is a place very inspiring, let's say, and challenging at the same time for the entrepreneurs. And so I think this is another good point for entrepreneurs to think about it. This also, or an incubator, depending of course of the services that this incubator is providing, but allows the entrepreneur to focus in the product, in the development of the product, and in the development of the market. Don't forget to start a company has a lot of other meaningful things, but also necessary things like legal, accounting, and a lot of other consuming things related to bureaucracy, related or things on the day by day. Many incubators help the entrepreneurs to stay away of these things and focus on product and market development. And this is very important because at the end of the day, all these things that an incubator is providing allows a better time to market. So this benefits the entrepreneur to focus on their project and reach earlier a final product or its first contract. Well, summarizing, it allows to get better and earlier a successful let's say history with your startup, right? So this is, well, very briefly, but some of the pros that I found that are very good for entrepreneurs. On the other side, there are also several cons. Let me just talk about a few of them that I found interesting. First of all, there are many differences between incubators, but by itself, the incubator has any of them has a very fixed model. because they are, as a business, they have to be also scalable. So they are probably having one model relating to services, relating to mentors, related to the particular industry that this incubator is focused, or a geographic location in which this incubator takes place and have the network, etc. So, and even, well, of course, every different incubator has its own rules regarding to equity and funding, etc. So this is, not every incubator is the same. So, and not every entrepreneur is the same. So this is one of the things that it's important to check before joining any particular incubator in order to avoid disappointments and meet the expectations of both sides. Another point that it's important when you join an incubator, that is, I explained this false safety net syndrome. I don't know if there is a better way to say it, but what I mean is one of the particular problems that I found is that sometimes the entrepreneur could be, let's say, in some way too much relaxed because they have joined an incubator, and not too much, but maybe more relaxed than if you are alone in the middle of the jungle, right? So the entrepreneurs could think, okay, they will help me, they will look for my funding, they will engage me with some particular customer, or they will help me with contracts or contacts, etc. And of course, this could be true, but at the end of the day, you could be more protected. But if they have to let you fall, let's see, they will do it. I mean, an incubator is not going to help you forever, no. So you are more protected, but you are not safe enough. That's one of the particular problems that I found. It's different, but it's about mentorship, right? Sometimes you can have too many mentorship, right? This is also something related like paralysis by analysis. I've been several meetings where different people is providing different and sometimes opposite advices to the same entrepreneur, right? Because any mentor has their own experience, and at the end, this experience is translated into advices. So people could have different approach to the same solution. An entrepreneur could be sometimes not doing anything because they have too many advices. So you are, at the end of the day, you have advices, but you have to take action no matter what. So you have to decide, no? So too many mentorship could be also a problem. And the last thing that I would like to say is that, of course, not all incubators are the same. There is, at this point, there are some incubator bubble, acceleration program bubble. There are so many programs and accelerations. So a lot of new players has arrived because this is a hot trend nowadays. So my only advice on this particular point is to understand that the incubators that you are looking is run by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. And of course, they have to have some financial point of view, but if it is run by entrepreneurs, they're gonna know and understand what are your problems and the way to help you. So, well, this is my last, let's say, advice for entrepreneurs that are looking for an incubator. Look for them, compare, and finally choose the one is better for your needs. Thank you very much.
A lot of the people on the call, I'm sure, it's echoing, right? A lot of the people on the call.
Hello?
Down.
1 second. Jean, please. Yeah, you can talk now.
Okay, I think we had an overlap of calls. I'm sorry about that, everyone. Thank you for your patience with our technical difficulties. And finally, am excited to introduce Vanessa Guerrero from Invest, who will use her government expertise to tell us just how the Spanish and foreigners alike can start their business in Spain. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Please go.
Thank you, Jennifer. And hello to everyone listening. Well, I would like to talk to you because I think there is a quite negative opinion about bureaucracy and red tape in Spain, as we have been able to listen in the whole seminary. But I would like to state in this point that there is actually a public intention to make it easier for entrepreneurs. And there are several initiatives currently running in Spain to get this goal, to make it easier for foreign companies and even Spanish entrepreneurs to invest and to set up ventures and activities in Spain. Well, in this context, I would like to talk a little bit about my organization, about my entity, which is ICEX, which is the Foreign Trade Institute of Spain. And within this organization, there is a part called Invest in Spain, where I work. And well, we are part of the Spanish government, of the Ministry of Economy and Competitiveness. And our main goal, our main intention is to help foreign companies and entrepreneurs to invest and to maintain their businesses in Spain. So we have been created several years ago, in 2006. And since then, we have helped almost 10,000 people with information requests and doubts they had about investing in Spain. And we have supported more than 1,000 investment projects in Spain, several of them coming from big companies, medium companies, but a lot of them also coming from entrepreneurs. So, we provide information to foreign people, foreign entities, about how to set up a business in Spain. We provide several other information on how to overcome this red tape, this bureaucracy, and how to get to start up in Spain. So we have several information in our website. You can see it in this link. About how to set up in Spain practically, so that you can enter this site and see, for example, which kind of entity is better for your business, if it's best for you to open up a branch or a representative office or limited company, etc. How to do it, how to practically do it, I mean, where to go exactly, where to get the forms you have to present, to submit to the public administration in Spain, and so on. We also can help you personally. I mean, you can write us an email with your project, with your doubts, and we are able to help you in your case, in your specific case. We also provide you information on potential incentives, grant, state aid, financial incentives, etc., that you will find in Spain. So we have, for example, a guide for companies or entrepreneurs to see which kind of incentives you can get in terms of research and development activities, of establishment, in terms of hiring or training your staff. I mean, you can see it in this guide depending on the type of venture or the type of activity you would like to develop. Also, we can help you personally. I mean, if you have some doubts about which kind of incentives will be able for your specific project, we study it and we provide you with that specific information on your project. And even we have, Investing in Spain have an own facility for promoting research and development for foreign companies and entrepreneurs. These are very interesting because this is a subsidy for foreign companies or for entrepreneurs with foreign financial capital to develop R&D activities in Spain. Again, we are able to provide you with personal information about your specific doubts. And I would also like to state that we provide other series of services for investors, for entrepreneurs, etc. Such as we can help you with legal and technical information you would like to have. We can provide you information about your specific industry, about your sector, about tax, bureaucracy, about immigration matters, etc. Well, I have also included, as you can see here, several other potential incentives from other Spanish entities, all devoted for entrepreneurs. So, for example, ENISA, which is the National Innovation Entity from the Ministry of Industry, have several lines, facilities, only devoted to entrepreneurs. There is a facility for young entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs no more than 40 years old, to set up a limited company in Spain and to have preferential financing, so loans for fixed assets, for working capital, and so on. They have also another line, another facility for entrepreneurs for the initial stages of the project, so that they provide you also with a preferential financing line. This is also very, very interesting. Also, ICO, the financial state entity, has a line, a facility only developed for entrepreneurs in Spain. So these are examples of lines, incentive lines that you can use. There are many others, and we can help you to identify all those lines. And last but not least, we also have a business climate department in which I also work to be aware of the problems that foreign companies and entrepreneurs encounter when they try to set up a venture and activity in Spain, so that we are aware of those problems and we try to find a solution for those. So, for example, we are aware of the immigration problems for entrepreneurs, and we are developing a series of solutions that have been proposed to the government so that the law, the rules for immigration for entrepreneurs is easier to develop in Spain. So, well, this is mainly our services, and well, I would like to state that they are all free of charge and confidential for all the foreign companies, entrepreneurs, and so on. So don't hesitate to come to us, and we will provide as much help as we can with your project. And well, I will be now able to answer all the questions that you have about this.
Wow, thank you so much, Vanessa. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of questions after this too. That's amazing to know how much there really is out there. We just had to have someone help guide us through it, as it's sometimes challenging. Now, I wanted to thank everyone for participating in the forum. Now we're going to have questions and answers, a few, because we're not sure how long the WebEx will last after we've gone over our hour. But then remember, on Talentia, on Twitter, if you continue to tweet questions to @TalentiaTech, @TalentiaTech, you will be able to do more things. It's all about it not being an uphill battle. We believe in the oncoming renaissance of entrepreneurs in Spain, and we believe it doesn't have to be an uphill battle. After all, at the end of the day, Spain once had the biggest empire in the world. Entrepreneurship and ambition created this empire, so it's in our genes. We just need to rediscover it. A beautiful quote someone wrote recently. So, viva los emprendedores, long live the entrepreneur. Now, so we're going to start our question and answer period. Remember, you can continue the discussion later at twittering @TalentiaTech or @TalentiaTech. So the first question, actually, my French colleague for SmartPlanet asked that, is the Spanish government alone in the EU in failing to support startups? Even France has welcomed entrepreneurs. I think Vanessa answered that there is a lot out there. There just needs to be more information about it. So we're excited to learn all the things Vanessa talks about. So we will definitely, I'm sure people will continue to comment to her and ask her more questions. So, Roque, someone asked you a question. which they were wondering some advice on how to present your ideas to or your project to an incubator. How do you go about finding an incubator and presenting your ideas to them, Roque?
Well, this is a pretty general question. Well, I would say every incubator has their own process. I mean, some of them has in their website or has the explain the way to get in touch with them, and some other has like a regular and specific time of the year to present the business plans or the presentations of the idea or things like that. So I would say like every incubator has the different way to do it, and they probably explain this on their website on every one website. So I don't know if exactly this is the question or not, but the question could be also the best way to present. Well, I don't know. That depends, of course. But a general advice is the same for incubators. The same when you are looking for a job or things like that, is to understand what is the interest of this incubator. If they have a industry specific interest or a geographic interest, or how or where are their partners, the partners of the incubator, to understand their past, their previous startups and things like that, and try to present your idea. I mean, if your idea meets these requirements, to try to present the best way according to these requirements, right? So I don't know, that would be my two advices. First of all, check the website of every particular incubator, and the second is to understand if your idea, if your startup meets let's say the principle of this incubator, right? And try to present in order taking into consideration these ideas.
Wow, thank you. I think to summarize, just go for it. I love it.
Right.
And now Jose Manuel, someone asked, and I'm sure they're eager parents, they want to know how do you choose the kids for your Iniciador program? Jose Manuel. I think you are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Thank you, Jose. So how do you choose those kids?
Okay. Well, we are working with different schools, and also we are working with different entrepreneurs that you know that I'm in a entrepreneur community called Iniciador, and we work with 400 different entrepreneurs that they have their own startups, and thanks to them, we are moving this idea to all young people around our communities. So we used to do camps, summer camps or weekend camps, where we go with some entrepreneurs that teach to the kids how they get to start with their own startups. So we make like how do you say, like classes where kids learning by doing. They used to try to start with their own dream and trying to get to transform the dream into a reality. Well, it's like small startups where they improve all their ideas and trying to get a product.
Okay, Thank you very much. I think we're all really excited about the idea of getting kids in Spain involved in it all. So thank you.
Well, thank
Another
you.
question we were asked was actually from, I'm interested in this, Enrique Semper from NIM Genetics, who I quoted earlier, asked about something I hadn't even heard of before. Does anybody out there know anything about the entrepreneurship law, and when it should come into effect? Has anyone heard about that?
Yes, there is a new law being prepared, and it will be definitely be soon. And I mean, they will publish it soon, but there is not an official date yet, so we cannot tell an exact date when we will have this new entrepreneurship law. But well, it will be very soon in any case.
I think we all hope so. That's true. And then to respond to one of the comments, one of the panelists was written to by Teresa Rodriguez, who said, don't you think different entrepreneurs' experiences about different product situations, et cetera, would be more useful? I think absolutely. I think the whole point of having this discussion today is to open more of a discussion. I had more than 100 people messaging me, and I had 80 comments on just one article about begging to differ why the Spanish aren't entrepreneurs. Now I'm really ready to talk about why the Spanish are and can be entrepreneurs and what we can do to help them. So I love to hear about examples of different startups. I've written for about more than 100 for SmartPlanet, and I just love to hear more. And I think that's the whole point of all of this, is that this is just opening the discussion. Now, we can't continue the discussion on WebEx because we're running out of time, but we really hope that you will log into TalentiaTech later on this evening or tomorrow to ask some questions, continue the discussion, and continuing tweeting questions and comments about entrepreneurship in Spain to @TalentiaTech. Tweet to @TalentiaTech. So thank you all very much for joining the call, and viva los emprendedores. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, TalentiaTech, for hosting us.